So as we are aware that we have a transfer function. Transfer function is represented as GS equal to CS upon RS, or it will be NS upon DS. Numerator and denominator polynomials. And NS and DS both will be a polynomial of S. So in detail, it can be written as B naught SM plus B1 S की power M minus 1 BM minus 1 S plus BM divided by Sn plus A1 S की power N minus 1 plus An minus 1 S की power 1 plus An. So NS numerator polynomial and denominator polynomial both will be polynomials of S. So we will be considering that their roots are, we are defining them as S plus Z1, S plus Z2 up to S plus Zm. क्योंकि S की power M है तो we will be having M roots of numerator, and similarly we will be having N roots of denominator. Because numerator is having M S की power M, so we will be having M roots, and denominator is having S की power N, that means we will be having N roots. So when S is any root of NS, मीन्स S की वैल्यू कोई हो जिसकी NS के रूट्स के बराबर होगी, तो अगर S इक्वल टू Z1 हो गया माइनस Z1, तो आपका GS कितना हो जाएगा? 0. तो because that will become 0, that means the roots of NS is known as zeros of transfer function. वो सारे रूट्स जिस पे आपका ट्रांसफर फंक्शन 0 हो जाता है, that will be known as zeros of transfer function. और अगर when S is any root of DS, that means S equal to minus P1, then your GS will become infinity. So all the roots of DS is known as poles of transfer function. If you remember this, we have also discussed in the case of network function, which we studied in electrical circuit analysis. Poles and zeros. वो जीरो जिससे फंक्शन की वैल्यू 0 हो जाए, और पोल्स जिससे वैल्यू इन्फिनिटी हो जाए, that is known as poles and zeros of transfer function. And the highest power of the complex variable S in the denominator polynomial ds of the transfer function is known as order of transfer function. डिनोमिनेटर पॉलिनोमियल में s की जो हाईएस्ट पावर है that will be known as order of the transfer function. So we have first order, second order, third order and so on. So first order means your transfer function will be having ns upon s plus a. Here we have highest power of s as 1. So in first order system, the highest power of denominator polynomial will be 1. Second order means s square plus as plus b. So this is a second order system. So to find out the order of the system, we have to first multiply all the terms which are given in the denominator. Like we have ns equal to s plus a. It is not कि यहाँ s की power 1 है, यहाँ भी s की power 1 है, तो this will become a first order system. You have to multiply all the terms and then you have to find out ns upon s square plus as. That means the order of this function is 2. Sorry, 2. Second order system. The order of the system defines the order of the polynomial in the denominator. तो डिनोमिनेटर की जो पॉलिनोमियल होगी उसकी जो डिग्री होगी that will be known as order of the system. And ds equal to 0. This is a very important term which will be used in the control system, which defines as characteristic equation. This is known as characteristic equation because if you remember the Laplace transform concept, any term when we convert it into Laplace, if you remember e raised to power minus at, its Laplace will be 1 upon s plus a. T square, it is 1 upon s की power 3. Sin theta, sin omega t, so it is omega upon s square plus omega square. So all the Laplace transform terms will have denominator terms dominating, because they will be deciding how your system will be behaving. So the polynomial, denominator polynomial when equal to 0, that will be known as characteristic equation of the system, because it defines the characteristic of the system. How your system will be behaving, that will be decided by this characteristic equation. So these are some of the terms which we must understand before going to time domain analysis of the transfer function. So now I comes to time domain response. As its name suggests, time. That means how your system will behave with respect to time. That will be known as time response of the system. So most of the controls system use time as an independent variable. So it is important to analyze the response given by the system with respect to time. For the applied excitation. So most of the control system use time as a independent variable. So it is very important to analyze the response given by the system with respect to time for the applied excitation. How the system will be behaving with respect to time is known as time response analysis or time domain analysis of the system. Generally, the excitation is function of time, and we have to find out how your system will be behaving with respect to a particular excitation. So the time response of a system is the output of the control system as a function of time. The time response of a control system is usually divided into two parts. One is your transient analysis or transient response, and second is your steady state response. So if you remember, we have differential equations of control system, and solution of differential equation is, if you remember, it is solution will be consisting of two parts. कोई बता सकता है डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन के टू पार्ट्स क्या होते हैं? CF एंड PI मैथमेटिक्स में पढ़ा था. Complementary function and particular integral. So they represents the time transient response of the system and steady state response of the system. So when we find out the solution of any control system, we will be having two responses. CT plus CSS. CT denotes the transient response and CSS denotes the steady state response. Or the transient response and a steady state response will be consisting the total response of the system. So the transient response it is defined as the part of the time response that goes to 0 as the time goes to infinity. The transient response is defined as that part of the time response that goes to 0 as times become very large. That means limit t tends to infinity, your Ct will become 0. It shows the response of the system when input changes from one state to another. And then we will be having a steady state response. It is the part of the total response that remain after transients are over, die. It shows as t tends to infinity. The steady state response is simply that part of the total response that remains after the transient has died out. The steady state response can still vary in a fixed pattern, such as a sine wave or a ramp function, with that increase with time. You don't confuse that steady state response means there will be a constant output which we will be getting. There may be the output will be constant, or there may be the situation when the output is not constant, like we have a sinusoidal output. So for like this, so initially we have this as transient period when the signal is increasing or decreasing. It may be increasing or it may be decreasing. So in this also we have this as transient period where signal will be going from 1.0 to high value, in this from high value to a constant value. So it is not always ki we will be having a constant response. It may be like this also. So in this also, this is your transient period, transient response, and this is your steady state response. So it will depend on the input which we are applying and the system on which we are applying. Like in the case of DC generator, we will be getting a constant voltage, but in case of AC generators, we will be getting a output which is sinusoidal in nature. So don't confuse that the system response must become constant when steady state has reached. Steady state means there is no change in the output which we are getting. And generally, normally it is a time which is required for a system to reach to the steady state is infinity. So there is no system which will be having a constant output after some time. So generally we are having plus minus 5% or plus minus 2% zone. When there is a variation in the output is plus minus 5% or plus minus 2% of the final value, then we assume that the system is in steady state. Because ideally a system requires infinity time for getting a steady state response. In a feedback control system, we have an inherent capacity that its parameter can be adjusted to alter both its transient and steady state behavior. In order to analyze the transient and steady state behavior of a control system, first step is to find out the mathematical model of the system. So first we have to identify what is the mathematical model of the system. And then for any specific input signal, a complete time response can then be obtained through the Laplace transform. So we have a system. We are applying an input. This is your system and we have to find out CS. So for any system, first step is find GS. That means mathematical model of the system. So either if we are working on control system, we will be finding GS, or we can find the mathematical model, that means differential equations of the circuit. The first step of the system is to find out the model of the mathematical model or transfer function of the system. Second is identify the input. Which input we are applied in the system. And then third is with help of inverse Laplace, find the CT. So in time domain analysis, we have these steps. First step we have discussed. For any system, we will be finding the transfer function of the system. So transfer function of the system we have identified. It may be electrical system or mechanical system or any kind of the system. We will be getting a transfer function of that system. Or in the lower case, we will be finding the mathematical equations, that is differential equation of the system. But generally, when we are talking about control system, we will be using the transfer function only. We will be not using the differential equation of the system. Then second work is to identify the inputs which we are applying. So the time response is mainly depending on the two terms. One is the transfer function of the system, and second is the input which we are applying in the system. So first step we have discussed. Then now second steps comes, we have to identify the input which is we are applying to the system. So now we can have infinity kind of inputs which can be applied to a system. Then how to analyze any system? So we have to analyze the system with help of some standard signals which we will be considering, and then on the basis of that standard signals, we will be identifying how the system will be behaving, and on the basis of that it will be analyzed the behavior of the system. So the inputs which we are applying, they are known as test signal, or these are standard test signal. So generally when we are talking about control system, we will be considering that these are the common input signal which we are using in the control system analysis approach. So the main signal which we are considering, first is step, then we have impulse, then we have ramp, then we have acceleration, then we have parabolic, exponential, and sinusoidal. Generally, these are the major test signal which we are using for analyzing the control system transfer function and finding the solution of the system. So we will be discussing them in detail, what they are representing. Their name will suggest what are they. Step means like a step. Ramp, that means the nature is like a ramp. Exponential nature. Impulse, that is impulse nature. So that will be the basic names which we are using that indicates the behavior of the system input with respect to time. So first we are discussing about step input. As the name suggests, its nature is like this, step. तो जैसा स्टेप होती है वैसा ही ये सिग्नल होता है. So the step signal is the signal whose value changes from one level to another level. Whose value changes from one level, which is generally considered as 0, to the another level. In 0 time. Means the input is suddenly applied like a switch. We have a DC supply. Before the switch is on, we have 0 input which is given, and when the switch is on, we will be getting a constant DC supply in the output. So this signal will be like this. So this is the graphical representation of this signal. We will be having a 0 before t equal to 0, and at t equal to 0, the switch is on and we will be getting a constant output in the system. So mathematically, this is represented by ut, and that will be having two values, 1 and 0. For t greater than equal to 0, the signal is 1, and for t less than 0, it is 0. So generally the signal RT is represented as A into UT. UT is your unit step input. So it is a unit step input, and the Laplace transform of this will be Rs equal to A upon S. This will be the Laplace transform of the step input. The step function is very useful as a test signal, since its initial instantaneous jump in amplitude reveals a great deal about the system quickness in the response to the input with sudden change. Since the step function contains a wide band of frequencies in its spectrum, as a result of the jump